Hi, I'm Six Shot, and here I've got Connor.
Hello.
Today I'm taking a look at the Transformer that I almost didn't buy. In fact, said to a lot of people I'm probably going to give it a miss, and in the end I relented and it came today. And that is this one. So it's Quake, and this is the Titans Return Generations homage to the G1. Now, the reason I wasn't going to get this, and I almost didn't, and I still don't love it, but I like it. But the reason I don't love it is there's two things I can't take when it comes to Transformers. Two things I don't like in my Transformer toys. One is clearance issues. They suck. If you can't transform it without stressing it and potentially damaging and breaking it, it's not a Transformer to me. If it's supposed to be a Transformer, it should be clear that you can transform it without having to damage it, okay? Or risk damaging it, feeling uncomfortable. So clearance issues. But the second one, and this is the relevant one here, I don't like hollow Transformers. I don't like it. I never have, and I never will. I'm a bit of a snob. I like my Transformers to not have too many gaps. Now, if it's just a little bit here and there, that's fine. But if it's dirty, great holes in it, not for me, right? That's a general rule of thumb. It will turn me off from an Optimus Prime faster than putting salt in your coffee. So that's how I feel about it. This guy, like a lot of the others, has holes and hollow bits in his legs and his arms, and it kind of sucks. However, I got it for a reasonable price considering the price of these things these days, and I do like the character because it was one from my childhood that I enjoyed in the comic books, and that's why. So we'll take a quick look at the bio for this guy just here for those that are interested, and I'll just read it out real fast as well. So this one says, Chasm opens portals that displace enemies and objects. Decepticon Quake can unleash his seismic attacks and use the power of Chasm to swallow Autobots into a teleportation abyss. Now, that means absolutely nothing to me because growing up, he wasn't a headmaster. He was a double target master, and sadly doesn't come with that, which is a shame. And it might be something that they do at some point, like they did with Cup. They released a Cup, didn't they, not long ago, and it had a Target Master. So maybe they'll put a couple of Target Masters with him, re-release a Takara version. I don't know. I'm not too fussed though. It's fine. I'll probably just leave him in tank mode if I'm perfectly honest, and have my G1 as my robot mode, something like that. The other thing is, I reckon we can get my G1's double Target Masters into his fists because it's standard pegs. So we'll give that a try. It's a different line. So that's what it is. This one has got how many steps? 10 steps to transform him. It says it right there. And it's obviously the one step for the head. So that's pretty much it for the box. Let's get this guy open and see what we think. So we've got them side by side, the G1 and Titans Return, and basically they're a similar size. I think the G1 is a little bit smaller. You can see the colour schemes are similar, which I quite like. There's some fundamental differences here. Apart from the Titans Master being a headmaster, obviously, and not being a target master, that aside, you also have a massive difference in articulation because this guy has the bend at the legs and the thighs and at the shoulders and the arms and the wrists. And, you know, he's just got all the modern stuff that you come to expect from Generations these days, and you just don't get that with the G1, which you didn't get, so that's fine. That's what we expect. But the question is, can you get the double Target Master gun to fit into the Titan Master? And the answer is yes, but it's really hard. It doesn't want to go straight in like it does on the G1. With a little bit of effort, a little bit of force, you can get it to go in. There you go. And he will hold it. So there I have him as a double Target Master, as he's meant to be. And that's pretty nice that you can do it. Okay, that is pretty good. Now the face on the G1 is actually the same kind of face that you get on this one. Okay, so I like that they didn't put a sort of grill or anything like that on his face. They did put a proper mouth and eyes and nose the same. So I do like that they did that. I'm always going to prefer my G1 just because it's my childhood. And I never had this as a kid, but I got it as an adult. I loved it in the comic as a kid. I've got all of the double Target Masters from the Decepticons. They're my favourites. So that's an awesome thing. But with this guy, he's okay. I think he's more of a playable toy because of his articulation, but he's not a genuine artifact. Now, there are some things I really like about him, actually. I quite like the engineering for this cannon that goes on his shoulder because of the way it can fold back like this or back up like that. That's really nice. I know that he inherited that from Hardhead, but it's kind of cool, even though he doesn't really need it in this this iteration. And they gave him a gun, which is important, I think, considering what he is and who he is, even if he's not a target master. So there is that. One of the things I don't like is his arms seem to be a bit too long, and when it's like this, I just feel like his arms are just too long. So it might just be my opinion, but it just comes over that way. So one of the things I do about it is I just lift up his shoulders a little bit like this, and in doing so, it just takes off that little bit of length and makes them feel less gorilla arms. You know, that's just a personal thing that I do. And another thing that I like about it is he's got the proper cockpit here, which opens up, and it is actually not made of soft rubber like it is on the Croc and Gator Face. It's like a rubbery cockpit on this one, where obviously they've done a proper plastic one on here. So I do actually prefer that. Also on this cannon, I believe you might be able to get your target master, or headmaster should I say, into there, so that's not bad. Pity it wasn't a cockpit as well, but that's not too bad. So he's got lots of firepower, which is good, and he's very poseable, which is good. But of course, the thing I didn't like was the hollow bits in the arms and the legs. The legs are not as bad as some, I'll say that. It's not as bad as some. The arms are terrible. But it's because the transformation when you put the fists in, but it's just, you have to pose it from the right angle to avoid exposing that weakness, I think. But he cleans up pretty well from the back, which is great for a bot of this size. That is a plus. And I do like it. I do think it's pretty decent. So, two very good figures in their own right, I think. Despite the things I don't like, there's things I do. And I really enjoy them. So we're going to get into transformation. I'm just going to quickly skip through because lots of people have reviewed this. I'm not going to bother trying to show it all, but I'm just going to go through transformation. Then we'll see how they compare in the alt mode. Before I do that, I didn't pick up the hardhead version of this, and neither did All in a Blur. And the reason for that is because actually I got this guy. Now, Connor's just bringing in my hardhead, and I'll lift the camera up so you can see it. That is my Make Toys Iron Will, which I reviewed quite a while back, and as you can see, he's a big masterpiece scale hardhead. Really great figure, brilliant figure. And after having this, I really couldn't justify picking up a smaller version. I just don't need another hardhead, and this is probably as good as it's going to get, more or less. So really happy with this. Even if there was one better, to be honest, this is good enough for any collector, really. So I love this thing. Once you've got something like this, it's kind of set to standard in your collection. So the hardhead from this mould just didn't appeal to me. And Nat didn't bother with it because I gave her my old Toy World hardhead, which is a chug version of this. And I did a video comparison of those if you're interested. And she has that in her shelf behind me now. So that's why we never picked up the other version, because we don't generally like to have the same mould twice unless there's a good reason. In this case, we didn't have this mould already, so it didn't really bother me to pick this one up. Again, let's get into transformation. We'll do that now. So first of all, I'm just going to remove his gun. And I'll pop his head off. Now, I've not transformed this before, but they're very easy to understand. There's the little headmaster, or Titan Master, whatever you want to call him. Titan. And yeah, I think they call him Titan Masters now. There were headmasters when I was a kid. But he's alright. He's not too bad. And it just folds open. Not much to show, really.
The arms aren't as stiff as this one.
It's a bit loose, if I'm honest. You can have hold of him. And I'm going to transform this G1 first, actually, because it's really easy. So you can separate the guns into two guns, and they can turn into little robots. As easy as that. That's all you have to do. So it's very simple. Hard to find sometimes, these are now. Getting rare. And you can give him the double blaster treatment if you want to. Now, this is from his transformation. He needs that cannon. But what you can do is you can actually do that, and you can put this cannon on top of one of the other guns. Both guns will let you do that. if you want to. The other thing you can do with it is you can actually put it on his arm here. So he's got like a bit of a Megatron cannon. Or if you want the weapon storage, you can actually put it on the back as well. So you get loads of options with this, which is really nice actually. It's quite playable. But generally what I do is when I put into tank mode, I just leave these guys combined together like that into the super gun, because that is what I stick on the tank. So that's that. Take this off because you need to parts format. Straighten up his head. Put his fists inside their little cavities. Now they're a bit hollow, but again it was G1. I make lots of excuses for G1 because it set new precedents, was the first of its kind, and therefore I didn't mind that it wasn't perfect and it wasn't the best, because to me it's nostalgia with that. Alright, this bit flips around like that, push these arms up and around, and that kind of gave it a little bit of articulation in bot mode that I liked. Bit of G1 squeak going on because it's so old.
Squeaky.
Yeah, squeaky. There you go. And it's a tank, and you just take the cannon then and it just goes in there like so. Now he doesn't have the spin here on the turret, which is a sad thing, and that was the thing they missed. They really should have fixed that. And of course you can then put the double target master cannon there, which makes it look ridiculous, but it does give him loads of firepower, and I love that. This is a fantastic Decepticon. We needed more Decepticons at the time, and they just came out and made loads of fun in the comics, and great little toy. So there you go, G1 goodness.
Here's a card.
There you go. It's very much a likeness to the toy. I'll give him that for sure.
I mean, it looks better.
Yeah.
Instead of the 3 cannons. And guns.
I don't think it looks any better, to be honest, with the gun on top of the gun. But I think this is a Cybertronian tank, which is cool, where this is obviously an Earth tank. So that's different. I don't think you can compare that.
No.
It's interesting they put that little clip on, but it doesn't actually help you with opening it. You still have to move that out of the way, which is a hard head thing. So do you want to put the little man inside?
Yeah.
There you go.
He's flimsy.
He is.
Why'd you say flimsy?
So I still like this one better, but I'm biased. I'm a G1er, so that's accepted. Or expected, should I say. Yeah. So, what do you think, Connor?
I think this design in tank mode is better than that one.
Fair enough. I guess that's because that's from my era and this is more your science fiction thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this has got more details than an Earth tank.
It has, yeah. I agree with that. It has got more details on the sculpt on the new one, which you'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a bit bigger as well. But then again, it's a lot more expensive than this would have been back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, a lot more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this was probably about maybe £8 or something. And this one is like 20 odd. It's like 22, 23,
like
24 pounds, depending where you get it. We got it for $18.99 delivered, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, there's a big difference in the cost. So if you take the Type Master out of that, okay, and then you should be able to put him, I think, into the cannons. It does give more playability. There's no doubt about it. So it's not a bad.
No.
It's not a bad thing. You can do that, and it just sort of give him some protection from the back, and he's able to drive the cannon. And if you've got other masters as well, you can put one in the cockpit and one there. So there's that playability, which works too. So that's pretty good. Cool. Well, thank you for watching us, and thank you for those that have left comments below to let us know what you think of this. I like both of these toys. I think they've both earned their place in the Transformers collection. What do you think, Con?
Yeah.
Good?
Good.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.